Good evening. Let's wait for our attendees to join in before we start with the session. So we'll just start with the introduction. SLC and MSM welcome you all to this Premium East Summit of St. Lawrence College with Canam Group. Myself, Vantana Raheja, Manager, North India and Subcontinent, would like to begin with a quote. Always walk through the life. Always walk through the life as if you are learning something new. As if you are learning something new, and you will. So here we are with this learning process to be continued with Canam Group. Today, we have with us our Director, International and Recruitment and Student Support, Mr. César Balbuena with us from St. Lawrence College, who will be spearheading this presentation and webinar. Before we start with the presentation, we would like you to get familiar with the basic controls of Zoom webinar. The first point is that your mic and camera will be off during the webinar. In case you want to participate in the webinar, we would request you to please raise the hand. Your questions and queries are most welcome in the Q&A section of the control panel. In case you're facing any technical difficulty, we would request you to please type in the same in the chat box. In case your queries are not answered towards the end of the session, questions are not answered, we'll be always there to assist you after the session also. Post this session, the email ID would be shared with you and you can always get in touch with me on the mentioned email ID. And now I'll just hand it over to César to start with the presentation of St. Lawrence College. César.
Thank you, Vandana. Good evening, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I haven't had a chance to address so many of you from Canam in the past. So this is actually a very good opportunity for me to do so and to thank you, first of all, for your support of St. Lawrence College and for helping us to recruit quality students to the college. So the presentation will take about an hour. I hope that I don't go too long past that because I know you're just finishing your day and it's, you know, I want to make sure that everything's done within the right time. I care so much about this college and about what I do and the passion that I have for this that sometimes I talked a little too much. So I hope that I can stay on script. But thank you once again for joining us, and I'm really happy to be able to talk to you today. Although I cannot meet you in person this way, at least we can talk. So I look forward to meeting you in person someday. Let me start, please, by giving you a quick update about what's happening at St. Lawrence College since this COVID-19 crisis began. As you might know, we closed the campuses physically about 5 weeks ago, almost 6 weeks ago now. And so the college campus are closed, but we remain operational. We've been operational since then, and all services for the students and everyone continue remotely. So we have been working from home for the last at least 5 weeks. And we continue to have virtual support for our students, who are current students, our applicants, your applicants, and also our worldwide network of agencies and partners that we have in institutions around the world. My team, both in Canada and abroad, continue to work also full-time. They're operational. So this is why Vandana and their team at SLC India continue to support you and our partners at MSM. So everything is the same. Nothing's changed other than we're just doing this, you know, through our computers, and it's working well. The students were, I have to say that they were able to adapt very quickly to do classes, finish their semester online. And we have heard actually some very good comments about this as well. So, and those students who are going into second semester will start on May 11th, their spring semester, and they will continue to do that online. Sadly, we decided to not welcome new international students in May because of all the unknowns and the situation with the visas, with the fact that they cannot come to Canada, they will have to do, you know, isolation and so on. And so we have deferred all the May or spring 2020 students into the fall semester. And so many of your students probably received this information and have been deferred already for the fall. And, and this is something that was done about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The other piece is that the September intake continues. The plans continue. As you know, we opened the fall intake recently. We are thinking about opening the winter intake soon as well, because we understand that some students are still, not sure about whether they want to come in the fall, and so they may choose to come in the winter. So we have been hearing some of the comments from our partners in India and other countries. So we may do that yet soon, at least for India. Excuse me. And then, as you know, IRCC, the Immigration Canada, had also made some announcements in the last few weeks. The first one is the fact that students can continue, their postgraduate work permits will not be affected by going to online studies. So those who are currently enrolled and will continue with the spring semester are not going to be affected. They can do their semester without having any problems for postgraduate work permits. And those who are coming to schools who have May intakes also will not have take class online if they have a visa, will not be affected. In our case, it doesn't apply because we don't have new students in May. The other announcement that was welcome also was the fact that those students who are here, who have a study permit and are doing off-campus work, if they are working in essential services, then they can work more than 20 hours a week. So that's been welcome. And the country also has offer financial aid for those students of any Canadian temporary or permanent resident who made over $5,000 in income last year. So many of the students who are, let's say, in the second year will have that already, and so they're getting some help from the government as well. And the college also has implemented from the very beginning a fund for emergencies to help our students. We have helped over 200 students with small amounts, but still help them to get groceries and so on. And the city and the college has a food bank that has been helping students. Thankfully, we haven't heard too many cases that are in very dire situations. It's always the students are helping each other, and in all three cities, we haven't seen any issues. None of our students or any student international students has had the COVID-19 virus. So we're very thankful that nothing's happened. And really in our cities, things are quiet. We're all working from home, but there is some physical distancing rules. We are in a state of emergency in Ontario still for another few weeks. And except for the essential services, nothing else is open. But our students are very busy working. Actually, most of them are working already in gas stations and grocery stores, and many deliver, food, skip the dishes and other things. So actually, a lot of them are very busy, busier than before actually working. So, which is good to see. And so this is what I wanted to tell you. Everything is going okay. The fall semester is planning to start normally, but of course we are mindful that this may not happen. And just a quick, from the part of immigration, I had a call with our manager for immigration in New Delhi. And so we were talking about what's happening there. And right now, really, they're not processing visas, as you know. Their focus is right now to repatriate Canadians who are still in India. Many Canadians are still in India. They're trying to get home. So this is what they're doing right now. There are no visa processing because the country is closed. And so until the board is open, they will then start to offer those services for visas to anyone who's coming to study. Right now, only students who have a visa, study permit approved up until March 18 can travel, and that's it. So that's it. The other thing that I wanted to do today is I can tell you about San Luis College, and I will tell you about San Luis College very, very shortly. But I always like people who come to the sessions that I do to leave with something new. Hopefully, this is something that you may have heard, but I want to emphasize this because this hopefully will help you to as a counselor, talking to students, even myself when I talk to students and advise them. We have a very big responsibility. And also, I think it's a pleasure to be able to help someone who has a dream to fulfill the dream. And there's nothing more uh, fulfilling to me than see somebody that I meet in your office, for example, who I talk to and meet the parents and hear about their dreams and what they want to achieve, and eventually, see them here doing well in school, and then graduating and eventually having a job, and so on. Some of them, sometimes they're married. They invite us for things, or we hear that we stay in touch and they may have a family and so on. And so, but just to see them how they are, fulfilling their dream and having a good experience is something that I think is very important for all of us. And so I always, you know, it's important for us to know uh, which ways to help our students to build a successful life and a career in Canada. So the next points about this, and you may already know this, of course, but I think it's very important that you understand and you know that your role is very important to me and to us as St. Lawrence College, because at St. Lawrence College we really put our students first and foremost for everything that we do. They are the reason why we're here. So we always want to know, for example, what does success mean to them? Because I can tell you that whether you are in the south or the west, east, north, depending on where you are, how people see success may be very different, and also what the parents think of success for their children, for example. Um, I always ask people at the pre-departure sessions, the parents, when I ask them what they want for their children, the parents always say, I want them to do well in school. That is the first thing they say. I want them to have a good experience abroad. I want them to be happy. And they say, I want them to have a job. I want them to eventually graduate and get permanent residence. But that's like at the end. The students, on the other hand, sometimes will say, I want to get a job. I want to, finish my program, and I want to, et cetera, et cetera. But the piece about the school success is not always there. And then I have students who tell me from the beginning, what success means to them is being the best in class, the highest, to make lots of money, right? Others tell me they just want to be happy, to have a meaningful life. And so it really depends, but it's good that you understand your customers and their families and what their expectations are. That will help you to select the right program in school, I think. And we need to help students to realize what their passion is. And of course, I know that it might be difficult in some places. Maybe you don't have enough time, or maybe the students already come with somebody told them what to do and they just follow, right? We notice that students are coming here sometimes, and they are coming into the wrong programs. The teachers tell us, I don't understand why this student is in this program when they don't know this, they don't know that, they just don't fit. And sometimes it's very difficult for them to change, and it's very expensive for them to change. And I would say that many cases when the students are not in the right program, they fail. And we fail because we're not actually setting up for success from the beginning. So I like to help them to follow their passion, to know what they really like. Just because somebody is, for example, in 10+2 that has, let's say, medical, right, health services, they may not be fit for a program, for example, like healthcare. Office administration, health services at St. Lawrence College. That program is not a healthcare program. It is a business program to work in the healthcare system, but it is a program that requires them to know about computers, to be able to write and type very quickly. And so if you put them in that program, they may not do well because they don't have the skills, right? So we have to find the right program. Also, some students learn better in university than they do in college, or vice versa, right? Of course, because the college is 2 years and it's cheaper and it's practical and has opportunities for jobs, most of the students are coming to college from India. But it's important that we know what is that they want, and also to choose the right institution. Some students want larger schools and rather than small, right? So we know, and I will tell you why it's important to be in a small city and a small institution, because of the attention that we give to the students. But some of them may not want this, right? Um, And also always look at the employment rates after graduation. That is very, very important, because after all of this uh, expenses and all this sacrifice for their families, they need to be able to find a job, and that is the most important thing for to know before you send them to a college or school, and also find the right city. Again, there are many cities, and most of the students who come to Canada always want to go to Toronto. And depending on where you live in India and your city, students will go to specific areas of Canada. But I would say majority are coming to Brampton, to Mississauga and Toronto, and they want to go there. And so, but that's not all there is. That's not Canada, right? Lots of advantage for small cities. So, and I will talk about this in a minute, but and the most important thing is that they need to have the right expectation and a realistic expectation, because there's nothing worse than having a student who has been told that they're going to find a job as soon as they land in Canada, when they have never been in Canada. They don't know how work is in Canada, and in all honesty, they don't even know how many courses they're going to take, what are the schedules that they have. And so for them to think that they're going to get that right on day one or day two for first week is going to be very, very um, unrealistic expectation. And so those things are very important to know from the beginning. And if you can help me or help us to make sure the students are coming to the right programs and with the right mindset from the beginning, then that is one way to get them, um, ready for success. Another thing that is very important for me and for the students, for us to encourage them to do, is to try to immerse in Canadian culture from the very beginning, because many students, we see that they are always with the same group of students, speaking the same language. And even within a group of students, I have seen students who do not interact with other Indian students. They may be from Punjab and they speak in Punjabi, and they may be from Kerala or from another part of India, and they're all in the groups, different things. They, except for when they want to watch cricket, and they're all Indians. But otherwise, they sometimes we see divisions in the groups. We encourage them from when they arrive to reach out to other people, because this is Canada, multiculturalism, and the language that we speak in Ontario is English. And so the more they practice, the better they will do later on in their careers as well. I am not from Canada. I came from another country. I am Mexican, and I have had to do the same things that I'm telling you right now, because I have to fit within this culture and this country to be able to succeed, I guess, and do well in my work and so on in life. We encourage them to participate in class. If the students do not push themselves to speak or to participate, they will not be seen by their teachers, by anybody. And we need to make sure that they are seen, so that they can be recommended when they're looking for someone for a job, for example. And they will have more enjoyment from the program if they actually participate and they learn, more also. We ask them to get involved on campus, and also in the community. Very important in Canada that people volunteer. That builds up a resume, the curriculum vitae. Of course, their work is very important, but it shouldn't be the most important thing in the students' lives. And that also has to do with the expectations, because if the family is not financially sound or set for this adventure, they should maybe wait a little longer until they have the right means to do this, and not just depend on the job when they arrive, so that they don't have to spend money in the GIC. And then, for second year, we see that often and often the students who come and they're struggling because they don't have enough money. And so it's not the best way to set them up. We are setting them up for failure, and that's not what we want. Um, and also we want them to be balanced, to study, of course, is the main priority, to work if they can, to have fun, make sure that they have activities for them, and there's lots of things going on campus, that they have a healthy diet, that they get enough exercise and enough sleep. So this is all about the student, right? And the most important thing is that they develop a good reputation, a name. Is very important for us, that they get to achieve that, because if they do, people will remember them and they will recommend them. and they will be the ones they call when they need something for a job, for example. So it is a very important thing for us. They need to be proud of who they are, because even though they may become Canadian someday, they will still be Indian, and they will still be from a region of India, and the name is important. And finally, with all the things that we do at St. Lawrence College, and when you talk to your students, help them to recognize that no matter where they are, even if they go back to India or if they go to another country, these 5 skills are in demand. And this is what they need to learn to develop when they're here and even before they come to Canada. Communication skills. We teach them that in our courses, make sure that they don't just text, with or email with as if they're texting, not writing proper English, proper email communication skills. And now that we are doing this virtual training and learning, they're learning new skills as well. So communication skills are very, very important, and the ability to work in a team. And I don't mean just a team with Indian students, a team with Canadians and students from other parts of the world. That's very, very important for us. The ability to problem solve, to do problem solving. I think they're very good at that, actually. I have seen them come to me with issues, and sometimes they just want the help. But then if you encourage them to try to think about ways to solve things themselves, they've been very good at that. But that's one ability that they need to develop. Leadership skills. Not everyone is born a leader, and so we try through training to help them to develop that, because it's very important that they know how to be leaders. And the last piece is about the work ethic. To have a strong work ethic that has to do with the reputation. Unfortunately, countries that have lots of corruption, like my country, Mexico, it's difficult sometimes to be able to do things in a way that the country has. But the country like Canada has many, many rules. And so we need to make sure that we are doing things properly, that we're not working more hours than we're supposed to, that we're not, breaking the rules, both in the college or outside. And so we need to make sure that they develop this very strong work ethic, and that they're not just like goofing around or, on their computers when they're working. They actually are serious. And so these are things that is very important that you also remind them that they need to know before they come. So they can be set for success. A student who comes um, with those skills is a successful student. So that's all I want to tell you about this, but I think it's very important. And again, thank you for those of you who are sending me students, who are students who are good, because I want to make sure that they do well, and I'm sure you do too. So you know what else? A student who is doing well will tell another student about the good experience, and will recommend you and your colleagues and your company to send more. So it's always, you do something good for someone, and then they will do something good for you. Um, there's one thing that I always tell students when I'm doing seminars also, is to follow the golden rule, which means that you treat others and do to others and treat them the way you would like them to treat you, right? So if you remember that and you apply that for everything in your life, I think that it will go very well for you. So that's all I have to say about this. As I understand, CANAM sends students primarily to Canada. And so most of you know about Canada. Just briefly to tell you that Canada is one of the best countries to live. I can attest to that because I came from another country and I've been all over the world. One can live very well here in Canada, and we have a very good quality of life, very safe, very multicultural and welcoming. One of 5 of all Canadians was born outside of Canada, including myself and many people that work in my office. We invest a lot of money in education. We have very high levels of education in our population in general, and also high level of education standards. And so I would say all colleges, at least public colleges in Ontario, are very similar. We have very good quality education, and at St. Lawrence College, we really put students first. That is the most important thing for us in our values, and so everything that we do has to do with this and to help students to succeed. And of course, in terms of cost, Canada in general is less expensive than the United States, than the UK and Australia. So we score well with around the world. The education system in Canada You may already be familiar with this, but in Canada, after our 12 years of high school, students can choose to go either into, let's say, the blue side is the university pathway, where the students go to a bachelor's, which is usually 4 year, and then a master's degree, and then a PhD. We don't have master's programs at the college. We only have graduate certificates. We don't have PhDs. Our focus is very different. Those who go to Quebec, for example, they will go into a CEGEP, which is like a middle school in between, like a college, I guess, in between high school and university, but we're not in Quebec, so that doesn't apply to us. And in Ontario, as the rest of Canada, in the green is the college system. So students here can study for 1 year, 2 years, which are the most popular diplomas, and 3-year advanced diplomas. And then the bachelor's also, we have bachelor's degree, one bachelor of business administration, and some colleges have also other bachelors. And then at the postgraduate level, we have graduate certificates, which are either 1 year or 2 years. So we offer a whole range of programs in every length of time. Most of our students are taking 2 years, whether it's a 2-year diploma at the undergraduate level, or a 2-year graduate certificate, or a 1-year graduate certificate plus 1 year graduate certificate to 2 years. But that is the pathway. Students who come into our diploma programs have the ability to continue their studies also by doing a pathway transfer into a university. We have many partnerships around the world and in Canada, of course. And so we have many students going to other countries. I would say the majority are going to Ireland because we have a very good partnership in Ireland, but they can go to many places like the United States or UK, and many schools in Canada as well. So typically the students, if they finish a 1-year program, they will be able to work after graduation or continue with their diploma or advanced diploma. 2-year diplomas, also they can graduate and work, or they can continue with a 3-year advanced diploma or a degree. Advanced diploma programs are 3 years, so the students can just go to work after graduation or continue with a degree program. And if you study a bachelor's degree, again, you can work after graduation or take a master's program or a graduate certificate. And those who study postgraduate certificates, obviously they can then go to work. And in very few cases, they might be able to go to a master's program and get enough credits to give them an advantage. And as you know, in Canada, one of the biggest advantages that we have for students who graduate is the fact that they can work after graduation. And so if you study for less than 2 years, you can work for as long as the time that you studied, typically a minimum of 8 months or so. And so if you study for 2 years or more, whether it's a 1+1, let's say graduate certificates, or a 2-year diploma or graduate certificate, you then can work in Canada for up to 3 years, which is what most of the students are doing. And this is usually the goal, because that gives them more time to be able to get experience, and also to be able to get enough points to apply for permanent residence through the express entry streams or the Ontario Immigration Nominee Program, etc. And of course, if once the students do become Canadian residents, there's also a process to become a Canadian citizen. But we see many students who are obviously achieving this. And that is the main goal, at least in India, I know, and in my country, Mexico, people want to come to Canada to immigrate. So studying in Canada has that benefit that they can do that. But again, is one caution: you can never promise anyone. I can never promise anyone that they're going to become PR, permanent residents, because we don't know, right? And in all honesty, if the students are not doing well in school, if they do not succeed with school and they are not following the rules, they may fail, they may have to go home, or they may not get a job right away. So how involved they get in school, how well they do, will have an impact on this eventually, because what happens after graduation is it follows the results of what happened during school as well. So this is why we want them to be successful from the very beginning. Between college and university, again, I would say most of the students from India are coming to college. we are besides the price, the fact that we have more practice than theory, sorry, more than universities, for example. We have 60% theory and 40% practice. In some programs, it's actually 50-50 or more. There are programs that we have 2 hours of practice for 1 hour of theory. So the students are ready for work when they come to college, and the programs are aligned to the job market, current job market. So they'll be able to find a job after graduation. The tuition fees obviously is a big thing. So tuition fees are lower in college than typically in university, except for a very small university sometimes. And the class size is very important. In colleges, the class size is smaller. It's about 35 to 40 students per class. In maximum, in some courses, we have maybe 20 students, 25 students. And so when you go to university in Canada, most of universities are large, and they have hundreds of students in a classroom, and they don't have a teacher that is, with them the whole time. They have teachers assistants. So the focus is very different. At the college, the interaction between professors and students is very, very close. So they can have a very personalized experience and really feel the support of their teachers from the very beginning, and they get to know them very well. And of course, the program offering that we have is different. There's more flexibilities and more exit points in colleges. Because if you go to university and you go into a bachelor's degree, you have to study for 4 years. If you stop in the middle, or if something changes in your life, you will not finish with a degree. So unless you finish 4 years, or a master's program will be a 1 or 2 years. So it's a difference there. But I would say colleges, because they are more practical, have the advantage of being able to get more jobs. And if students are not keen of just being, reading and studying and then exams, and they want more practical skills, then for sure colleges are better for that. And of course, the cities make a big difference. It is true that people say, I want to go to Brampton because that's where my brother is, my sister is, or cousins, which most likely are not even blood related to them. But because they have that fear to come to Canada and not know anyone, they tend to want to go to big cities. And also, we have the problem with those, we call them the 2-week agents, who are working here in Canada, in Toronto particularly, who are trying to, convince your students to switch schools. And because, most of the Indian students are in Toronto or Vancouver, they tend to persuade them to go to those cities. But I have to tell you, bigger cities, bigger problems, more expense. In the smaller cities like Kingston, Brockville, Cornwall, we have more affordable accommodation, very safe communities with ideal locations, and the quality of life is very, very good. Even in the smaller cities like Brockville, we have everything. Full service cities with everything that you need. To have when I say real Canadian experience, it means that there are actually Canadians, right? It's not just made up people that are from your same country and who speak the same language, which is what happens in some other parts of Toronto. You get to actually interact with Canadians, which is very important, particularly after graduation, when you have to go and find a job that may not be in the big city, that may be in a very small city, or even if you want to, maybe go to a province where there's more opportunities for immigration. It is better to be in a smaller city from the beginning, so that you can have that opportunity to learn and to improve your language skills, and to also interact with Canadians. We do have employment, good opportunities for jobs on smaller cities. I don't think we have problems in terms of unemployment here. And also students are finding jobs part-time, even in the smaller cities. And there is a bigger need for immigrants, because the larger cities are saturated with immigrants. Everybody goes there, not just Indians, everybody goes to Toronto and to Vancouver and to Montreal. So eventually, that is actually a blessing in disguise. Coming to a small city, they will find a good job here. They can stay locally. We want our students to stay in the smaller cities because we need more immigrants in the smaller cities. And so we are trying to do all we can to attract them and keep them here. So that's an advantage. And so I want to welcome you to St. Lawrence College now. And all these things I talked about before, and the students who come here who are coming to the right programs, who have the right attitude, who are balanced, who are not just coming to work. You can see some of them here in this picture. I can tell you, because I know all of these students, how they are giving their time here to volunteer. This is during orientation last year. So they're there to help other students who are new students to feel welcome to Canada, to answer their questions, and they're really just very keen to get involved. I have seen them in different formats and things. Many of them work in our international office, helping other students. They're involved. Some of them are doing, radio show. They're doing a podcast. They are working in different departments, but they always are willing to volunteer and to help. And some of them are graduating this year. They're going to be successful. They already have jobs, and they're all happy. And that's what I want for your students, to be happy, to be able to feel they're having a good experience here in at St. Lawrence and in Canada, and that they belong here, which is another value that we have at St. Lawrence, called belonging. So this is what I want to see when I have your students in front of me at the college and throughout their time in Canada. Happy faces. I'll tell you about the college and where we are located. We have 3 campuses. First of all, let me go back. Kingston was the first capital of Canada, and so this building in front of you is what used to be the Parliament building of Canada. And Kingston is surrounded by water. We have Lake Ontario on one side, and then we have the St. Lawrence River. So this point you see in the back is where the St. Lawrence River and the Lake Ontario meet. It's a very beautiful part of the city. So we were the first capital in Kingston. Kingston has been my home for over 26 years. This is where I came from when I came to Canada. My wife is from Kingston, and so this is the city where I came. I never worked in Toronto or Montreal. I could have gone there because there's more people who speak Spanish, but I actually chose to stay here with my family, and it's been a wonderful experience. This is a very beautiful city in Canada. A lot of students live here in Kingston. We have 3 institutions in Kingston: Queen's University, the Royal Military College, and St. Lawrence. And between the 3 of us, there are more than 30,000 students living here, and in a city that has 160,000 people. So a very big percentage of the population is students, and it makes the student very vibrant. And we also have many people who come here to retire. We have lots of retirement homes, many hospitals for the region, many factories outside, and the city is known for tourism because we are in something called the Thousand Islands and the history of being the capital. So there's a lot of things going on here, and lots of opportunities for employment for our students. We have 6,000 students on campus on average, and more than 1,000 students are international. They come from over 40 countries, but this is where we have most of the international students coming and most of our programs. The city of Kingston is located in between, almost in the middle of Toronto and Montreal, about 2.5 hours from Toronto, but about 3 hours from Montreal, less than 2 hours to Ottawa. And we are right on the border with the United States, about 20 minutes from Kingston to the border to the United States and New York State. Brockville is the next city. It's about 45 minutes from Kingston. And Brockville is a very small city, about 25,000 people. It is a beautiful, beautiful city right in the heart of what we call the Thousand Islands. At one point, there were more millionaires in the city than anywhere else in Ontario. So we have beautiful homes, very beautiful waterfront. And the city is a city that needs immigrants. There's a lot of jobs there for people who graduate, and they want them to stay there as well. And it's very close to Ottawa, only 1 hour from Brockville to Ottawa, 20 minutes to the United States, close to Kingston, 45 minutes, and then Cornwall is 2 hours. Sorry, 1 more hour from Brockville. Small campus there. We have 1,000 students with about 100 international students. And then further east, we have Cornwall. And Cornwall is a city that has actually developed very well for us with international students. The campus has 1,300 students in total, and about 350 to 400 students right now are international. Right now, I would say they come from many countries, but maybe about 10 countries, less than Kingston. But the city itself and the college attracts a lot of people from many countries that are coming to study here, many immigrants, permanent residents that are coming from Ottawa, from the Montreal and Quebec area. The city is only 15 minutes from the border with Quebec. So about 40% of the population in Cornwall speaks French. And the city is right across the border with the United States. You can actually see the bridge from our campus into the United States to New York. And the campus is located right on the San Lorenzo River. Beautiful, beautiful campus. And this is a city that also was recently added to with an Ontario Immigration Nomination Program with a regional immigration pilot program. So this is a program that is for 3 years, and so graduates from this in this campus who stay in this city working could get permanent residence faster than they would if they went to other places. So this is a very good opportunity, and we have very good programs here for our students. So keep that in mind. Cornwall is a very, very good city, and has a good Indian community now as well. I'll show you a video about Cornwall. This is something that our students in the project management program, postgraduate program, did together with the city of Cornwall. So this is brand new. I hope you enjoy it.
St. Lawrence College is very welcoming, and the atmosphere is friendly, the people are nice, and the environment is also peaceful for studying.
Bienvenidos. Добро пожаловать.
Welcome students.
Welcome. എല്ലാവർക്കും St. Lawrence Collegeലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം.
At St. Lawrence College, we believe in the importance of linking the theory learned in the classroom to real-world projects. This is their project.
Welcome to Cornwall.
One thing that I like the most about the college is the quality of education. My professors, they are all experts in their fields, and they are working actually in the industry. So it's kind of really important for me to get their first-hand experience in the classroom.
I did my supply chain management. I finished that, and right now I'm working in Matrix Logistics. I got there as an intern, and now I'm working there. They've asked me to join in that company. This is one of the most amazing experiences that I'm having right now, working on a real-life project with real-life clients.
I feel that Cornwall is a very good place to live. As a student, I feel that you can save a lot of money here, and the people over here, they are very friendly and they are gentle with you.
It's that place where you can sit, think, relax, just get new energy to work, to study, to think about your future life.
The one best view about Cornwall is you have the riverside, you have the Grace Creek. So these places are amazing. And you have the bike path where if you go on a bike ride, it's like you are in a different world.
When you're going abroad for the first time, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And by Cornwall being a small city, you feel safer and more protected. You know, like to experience for the first time the Canadian culture.
Hello, bonjour, Sego. My name is Bernadette Clément, and I'm the mayor of Cornwall. Our beautiful community is located along the banks of the wonderful St. Lawrence River. Our people are warm and friendly and welcoming. We are building upon a long history of diversity and peace and respect and love for one another. We love visitors, and we have lots of opportunities here.
Hi, I'm Martha Woods, Executive Director of the Eastern Ontario Training Board. Visit our Newcomers Employment Services Center or come and collaborate in one of our co-working spaces.
Hello, I'm Leslie Thompson, Executive Director of Community Futures Cornwall and the Counties. Whether you want to start your own business or find a fulfilling career, we have the support services that you need. In Cornwall, there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met yet. Welcome to Cornwall.
Very nice, eh? And I'll play you one more video, actually for Kingston. This is another nice video about the city. So here it goes.
A city can be just another place to live, or it can make you feel alive. Welcome to Kingston, Ontario, where feeling alive is our lifestyle, our culture, a place where opportunity and diversity dance in our streets. We're not just another pretty place, we're pretty smart too. We're ranked one of the best cities in the country for young, talented workers with outstanding secondary and post-secondary schools. Those young minds don't have to go far to find a diverse economy. Our economy is a healthy balance of public and private sectors, filled with innovation, stability, and growth. It's no wonder we're home to more than 6,000 innovative small and medium businesses. part where we said feeling alive is our lifestyle? Here's why. We have one of the most vibrant downtowns in the country, filled with amazing restaurants, cafes, bars, and it is all so close to one of the best waterfronts in the province. Our community is an active one, with plenty of running and biking, many city parks, 7 provincial parks, hundreds of lakes for those outdoor adventures, and being so close to cottage country, you can live, work, and play all in one place. We offer a variety of sports and entertainment for many demographics, especially young families. And when you're looking for that extra edge in business or want to travel, we're just a short drive away from major metropolitan cities while still offering the comfort of being close to home and work. Kingston, Ontario, where feeling alive is our lifestyle.
There you go. This is my city, but as I said, it's a very welcoming city. All of them are actually. Just briefly, the key performance indicators. This is also a reason why St. Lawrence College attracts many students. It has to do with employment after graduation. 89% of our students in this past year were able to find employment within 6 months and in their field primarily. And also we have a very high satisfaction rate for employers from when the graduates go work for them. So very high in Ontario. We're typically among the top 4 colleges in Ontario. There are 24 colleges, and we usually score among the top 3 every year. So very good numbers. We have 3 intakes per year. As you know, we have a winter intake in January with a selection of programs. Typically, our postgraduate programs, our graduate certificates are running consistently every semester, most of them. And we have also a spring semester. It starts in May, which of course we have what we call an early start for fall diplomas. We started this about a few years ago. The students come here for what we call a semester 0. They take a lighter load of classes, and then they join in their cohorts for their program in September, starting with the semester 1, but they now take less courses than they would normally do. By coming earlier in May, that helps them to have more time to study, to find jobs, to get used to the city, and also a very nice time of the year for Canada. And so they tend to do very well. Of course, this year we couldn't do that, so we had to defer them to the fall, but they are coming to the same program that they were in before for diploma. And you find that in the letters of acceptance, these programs that come in May, they show 5 semesters instead of 4. And that's because they have that semester 0 when they arrive early, and then they join the program, which is 4 semesters. So this is why that happens. And in terms of tuition, the ones who come in May for diplomas, they usually pay their tuition for their semester 0. When they go to September, they don't pay tuition. We just charge them the compulsory fees, the bus pass, the insurance, and so on. And then they pay again their tuition fee in the winter. So that's how this works. And commissions are paid when the tuition is paid. So they're paid in the May, and then it's paid again in January. We do not pay commission in September because they are not paying tuition. And then we also have the September intake, which is the main intake, where we have all programs running usually in September. And we have 70 programs that we choose from, as you know, and our team can share with you which programs are available every semester, which ones have seats available, but we have programs in every area. Admission requirements, briefly, but Nana, you want to talk about this?
Yes, surely, Cesar, I will talk about it. We would require, since you know that our admissions are being taken care by OCAS portal. OCAS is Ontario Colleges application system, and we are following that. The applications are submitted online. So the admission requirements are original copies plus translated copies, because we would require all the copies should be translated in English language for high school diploma, as well as the other senior secondary for undergraduate programs, and university degree plus transcripts or mark sheets for graduate certificate programs. The application fee is $100, and it's normally not waived off in any cases as of now. and the person should have a valid passport, and we are following SDS requirements as such. IELTS should be 6 bands in each module for undergraduate programs, 6.5 not less than 6 for graduate certificate postgraduate programs, and 6.5 not less than 6 for our bachelor program, which is bachelor's in business administration. And the first year tuition fee, the current deadline is May 30th. Keeping in mind the COVID-19 situation, we have extended the deadline, but let me remind all of you that the lead time to pay the tuition deposit is 21 days. That's what the lead time is. When a student is issued an LOA, it's clearly mentioned on that LOA that the time duration would be within 21 days. It will be valid for 21 days from the date it has been issued. But seeing the COVID-19 situation, we have extended it till May 30th for all the students who have got their LOA issued for September 2020. And GIC for sure is $10,000, which is a norm with under SDS requirement, 1 year tuition fees, then GIC, and then IELTS requirement. IELTS should be 6 each for undergraduates, 6.5 not less than 6 for postgraduates. So that's how. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I have to say that this is very important also that, you know, if the students are meeting all the requirements for SDS, I really want to encourage you to also ask the students and help the students to apply through the SDS visa process, meaning online, because we have students who are not applying online, who are not going through the SDS process for application, even though they meet all the requirements, because they think they're going to get refusals. And in fact, they're getting more refusals if they don't follow the SDS process. This is coming from my conversations with the Canadian Embassy, with the manager for immigration in Delhi. So please help encourage the students to apply through the SDS process online, because our success rate in SDS is usually over 90%. Much higher than the 30% now that or so that it is with non-SDS. So please encourage them to do that. And then just in general, our tuition is very similar to other colleges. It's around $16,000 per year for average diploma. The most expensive program we have is the business analytics, which is around $12,000 per semester. And based on that, you know, the expenses could be higher. Our rent is not very expensive. Most of the houses that rent rooms for one person, because this is price per person, in Cornwall is between $400 to $600 in Kingston. There are houses that rent to students to 2 per room, so they usually pay around $300 to $350 per student. But you know, we don't always recommend that because some of the homes are very big and they have too many students, and the quality of life is not good. When students rent apartments, they usually will rent like a 2 or 3 bedrooms, and the average, you know, is between $1,200 per house or apartment to almost $2,000, depending on where they are located. But in the end, if the students are sharing, each student is paying around $200 to $400 to $300 a month or so, depending on where they are. The college does have a residence where the students can live in residence on campus, and also we have homestay with Canadian families. And important that they know that the books are expensive, and in programs, in not every program, but in many programs, they are required, and they cannot say, no, I don't want to buy it. They need to buy the books because they need them to be able to study. But most teachers are switching now to online books, and also we do have discounted books at the college as well, and the libraries, of course. But they need to be prepared, the families, to have enough money to pay for their tuition for the first year and their living expenses, and to not depend on a job that they may not have right after they arrive. They will get a job, but maybe not right as soon as they arrive. So very important that they keep that in mind. The programs that we have, I'll just go briefly. These are programs that are good for immigration, instrumentation and engineering and control. We have also energy systems engineering, which is very good because this area of Canada has a lot of solar energy and also wind energy. We also have a very good program in engineering, civil engineering, which has very, very good jobs. All of these programs have a very, very high level of employment, if not 100% almost. Health Information Management is a program that became a diploma last year. Used to be a fast track program. Very important that you please remember, most of the students in this program are actually university graduates. So even though it's not a postgraduate program, it is very fit for students who already have, who are coming from healthcare or from engineering backgrounds, who have an interest in healthcare. Students need to know how to use a computer. They need to be well versed with computers, literacy and software. So we recommend that the students take a course or that they have those skills before they come, because otherwise they're not going to do well. It's a very demanding in terms of computer skills. And so, but there are lots of jobs in this program as well. Healthcare administration is a management program for healthcare practitioners who want to work in middle management jobs in Canada. Very popular with international students. We have lots of good experiences here. And of course, business analytics is one of the best programs in Ontario for big data. We have very good experiences with our students, and they're doing very well in terms of jobs after graduation. 100% employment rate with very high salaries. Supply chain management is in Cornwall. Very good program as well, with lots of jobs. And the city of Cornwall is a center for logistics and supply chain in Ontario. So very good place to be for that area. Project management is run in both Kingston and Cornwall. And again, we have a very good experience with those programs and those students at our colleges. And it's a good match for another one-year program that could be paired with the project management. We are a very good school for advertising and marketing communications, both in the 2 or 3 year diplomas. And also we have that program in postgraduate and integrated market, digital marketing communications. We also have programs in IT, game programming, computer systems technician, which are very popular with new students. Computer programmer analyst, very, very good program. Word of caution for game programming. This program, if your student is not strong in math, if he's not strong with computer skills, and they're not analytical thinkers, like a civil engineering student, like a health information management student, they need to be analytical. They need to be like engineers. If they don't have those skills, do not send them into game programming, because they will not do well. They're okay for computer systems technician, for example, because we have had issues in the past, and we want students who are very, very solid with their math and also with analytical skills and engineering skills. Diplomas in business in every area, culinary management, fitness and health, etc. We have many programs in these areas, and a bachelor degree of 4 years in business. And other certificates for graduate students is autism and behavioral science for those who have a background in psychology. Therapeutic recreation is a good program with good prospects for employment, but it is a 3 semesters, so they will need to pair with something else. And another program that is becoming popular is user experience design, which is also a good program in Kingston campus. And that's it for my presentation. Vandana is the contact, the manager for our SLC India office, and she is shown here in this picture. I want to encourage you to please write down this email, this website. It's called Experience SLC. This is a website that has been relaunched during this week. We have actually an open house for students who already have been accepted, so they can learn about the programs. There are actually very good ways to use the website. Also, the website has, if you go to the campuses, you can actually go into the campuses that we have and see some virtual tours, lots of pictures, links to the cities where they have more videos. It's a very good resource. After this week, all of the presentations from the program coordinators are being recorded. So all of the sessions that we are having this week for students will be recorded, and so you can actually watch them after this week. If you decide to join some of the sessions that are happening today, tomorrow, and the next day, make sure please that you listen to the sessions, but the people that are in the sessions are not able to answer any questions with regards to immigration or to admissions requirements, because they're not in the international office. So this is run by the domestic recruitment team, but we'll be happy to answer any questions. And so now, if you have any questions, I guess Vandana, we can address them. I'm very sorry that I'm now at the 1 hour mark, but I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any, so we can do it quickly. Hopefully I cover everything.
Yes, Caesar, we have a question that please update us regarding the available scholarships, bursary for international students.
Okay, sure. So if the St. Lawrence College has a foundation that receives money from different parties every year, different people that are donating money to us. Students who are, they can apply before they come. There's an application for the fall and typically the winter semester. There's a process. These are small bursaries. It could be anywhere from $500 to $3,000 or $2,000 is the most I've seen for international. And they're given based on merit. Students who have very good grades, who have been good members of the community, volunteers, who have won awards, who are maybe excelling in sports and things like this. There are different types of scholarships, and some programs also have some bursaries like this. We see a few students who actually qualify for this at the beginning, but once the students are here, they can apply for these bursaries every year. So if they're here for 2 years, they could apply after the first semester, for example, if they did very well, or after the first year, if they did well, and they have built their resume and their curriculum. But if you have exceptional students who you think qualify for this, encourage them to apply. The application is done online. From our website, you have to just look where it says pay for college, and then there's a section that says alumni, bursaries and awards, and they can just go in, fill the form, and submit it. And then if they qualify, they will be then sent an email to let them know that they qualify for which amount and which bursary. But we do have some, not a lot, but of course, but we do have some bursaries for students to come. But as I said, many of them actually are more successful when they do that after they've been in Canada, and they have more to show, and they have earned this with good work and their merit. So, but we do have some. Anything else?
I think, Caesar, we have only this question. In case the team has any other question, I would request them to please type in the Q&A section.
And really, the advantage that you have is that we have an office for India, Vandana running that office, and we have many of our, recruiters and part of the team with MSM who are in contact with you, right? So you know that you can reach out to them at any time and be able to ask any questions. We try to be able to communicate with you on a regular basis, of course, and but we want to make sure that you are being supported all the time.
I think, Caesar, it's time to conclude the session. Okay. Sure. I would request you to please conclude it.
Sure. Vandana, any last words from you?
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope it would have given us you good insight of St. Lawrence College as an institution. As it's already there on your screens, you can always reach me on india.manager@sl.on.ca. I'll be more than happy to answer your queries, doubts, or any further information about St. Lawrence College. And now I'll just hand it over to Cesar to please conclude the session.
Thank you, Vandana. And thank you once again, everyone, for joining me this evening. I hope that you're staying safe and at home and that you're coping well with this pandemic. I know things will go back to normal eventually. And I really want to thank you again for tuning in and for listening to my very long presentation. But I think it's important, like I said, please be reassured that we are here to help you and to support your students who are here, our applicants, and you. Thank you once again for all your support. I hope that I can see many of you in my travels to India soon when this whole thing concludes and we can move to the next, back to normal, the new normal life. Stay well and stay healthy. And I want to just thank you once again and thank you so much for joining us. See you soon.